That building, hi Lynn. That building with the advertisements, that's #1 Times Square. That's where they dropped the ball on New Year's Eve. Have a seat. Yeah, if you look up on top, they left the ball and the numbers up there from last January. That's the revolving restaurant at the Marriott Marquis. There's a famous restaurant on the left called Planet Hollywood. It's also home of the $40 hamburger. Over here where it says Lion King, those are the MTV studios. That's where they do all the MTV shows. Yeah, in about 30 seconds to midnight on New Year's Eve, they start dropping the ball from the top of that white flagpole.
Didn't they say
exactly at midnight, it hits those numbers, and then all hell breaks loose. You know, last year for New Year's, there was over 1 million people out here in Times Square. And I would say out of the 1 million that were here, maybe 5 of them were New Yorkers. Biggest toy store in the world. This Toys R Us has a 60-foot Ferris wheel inside the building. And I have to ask if you're going to do it by the giant button. It's called the Fashion District Walk of Fame. You see, in the sidewalks over here, there are plaques of all the famous designers that have come out of this area. You know, guys like Ralph Lauren and Calvin Klein went to school here. And that giant button, that's the information booth for the Fashion District. You got to admit, that is one big button, huh? You should see the shirt that it came off of, huh? For me, Gray Line ticket. All Gray Line customers get 11% discount at Macy's. Know that. Use it. But you got to go to customer service. The cashiers won't accept it. So go to customer service. Save some money. You know, this Macy's up here, 3 blocks up on the left, biggest department store in the world, has 2.5 million square feet of shopping space. Building is 11 stories. It takes up an entire city block. The guy that opened up this big department store, his full name was Roland Yusey Macy. Roland Macy came out of Nantucket around 1838. 15 years old, he spent 5 years in the Atlantic Ocean catching whales. Yeah, Macy came back to New York with $400 in his pocket. Opened up his first store down on 14th Street back in 1857. See, but when Macy was out there catching whales, he got a tattoo of a big red star on his hand. And that's where the Macy logo comes from. That big star you see in the marquee comes from Roland's tattoo. And if you do go into Macy's, after you go to customer service, go upstairs and check out the escalators. On the upper floors, the top 3 floors, the escalators are made out of wood, hand-carved by Scandinavian carpenters. They're really quite unique. And the kids are always getting their feet caught in them. Hey, what do you have? Like a... Take a look up this block to the left. The Empire State Building is right up the street here. Yeah, this is 34th Street. Morning America. Well, that's it right there. Believe it or not, except for the drugstore on the ground floor at #1 Times Square, that whole building is empty. Vacant, nobody in it. They pay the bills with the advertisements. Those advertisements generate up to $20 million a year. And I don't get any of it. But you know, this area has changed a lot in the past 20 years. Times Square used to be one of the highest crime areas in New York City. You know, this used to be considered the red light district. Times Square used to be all X-rated, drug dealers, peep shows. It was a mess. 42nd Street changed so much that they renamed it the new 42nd Street. Well, yeah, 42nd Street literally went from one extreme to another. It really did. 42nd Street went from drug dealers and sex shops to Mary Poppins. It wasn't me this time. If you like good music, underneath that Regal sign, B.B. King's Blues Club restaurant, good place to catch a live music. And we're just going to make a quick stop over here at 41st Street, and then we're going to head over to Macy's. But you know, as soon as you cross 42nd Street, 7th Avenue here becomes Fashion Avenue. This is the garment and the fashion district in front of us. You know, for many years, this area of the city was all textile manufacturing. Unfortunately, we don't do much manufacturing here in the city anymore. What's left of the garment industry in this area today, basically it's importing and exporting. Go back up and try again. 3 years ago, some crazy tourist from California snuck up to the observation deck. The guy had a parachute on underneath his suit. When he got to the observation deck, he took his jacket off and started climbing the fence. But just as he was about to jump, the security guard spotted him. The security guard handcuffed him to the fence, called the cops. Cops arrested the poor guy. They took him to trial. He wound up getting 3 years probation. But you know, during trial, they actually wanted to give the guy a year in jail. Because you know it's against the law to jump off buildings in New York City. Yeah, you have to go to Jersey to do that. They don't care. No, before the Empire State was there, though, that was actually the site of the original Waldorf Astoria Hotel. See, back in 1928, they knocked down the Waldorf. 14 months later, the Empire State was finished. The whole building went up in 14 months. Yeah, some of our contemporary construction workers could take a lesson from that, you know?
14 months, that's...
We're going to make a stop for Macy's once we get across this intersection.
Whereas, what was it in Washington? He looks powerful.
Yeah. You know, I hate to say it, but this company doesn't care. This company does not care. If you get a good tour on the bus, it's only because the tour guide
you're so
cares.
beautiful.
This company, we could get up here and just...
Ali, do you want to get something to eat here instead then too?
Yeah, sure. Somewhere cheap.
There's a McDonald's.
Oh, you're beautiful. Thanks for kissing me.
You park. Look around the other side.
Way down there. Oil makers a little bit. So what's the future is the one that's like there. I don't know about you, but I'm quite happy with this field. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. And then you know, fancy some kind of late delivery. How much